Don't need a countdown. Well, we're back, part two. And I guess if you can explain what the club itself is like, because I've never been there, and for people who haven't there, they can. I mean, we've seen the video of them, close up, but what is the place like?
I mean, it's a decent sized room. I would say does it holds like did you look it up, Marcus? Is it
I didn't
four
know.
400? Maybe more,
Yeah,
a little more, maybe
maybe more,
500.
a bit more than that, I would say.
And the stage is it's a raised stage. It's not huge. It's got what is it? 460. Oh, 460. We've got
There you go.
my
Okay.
my assistant Kim in the back just looked it up. It's 460. Um, and like you walk in and there's like a raised place for merch. There's a bar along each side. Sound is in the back, and then off to the side of the stage, if you're facing the stage, either way, there's an entrance to backstage area where people hang out. Like whether it's the band or people who are there, with the band get to hang out back by the side of the stage. My one of my favorite things, and I just have to mention it not only because I'm living in Minnesota right now, but I love Prince, and I just happened to go see Purple Rain. But they have the only Velvet Prince painting I have ever seen.
Ah.
And every time I'm there, I'm like, how do I sneak this into my bag? I kid. I actually asked Barry, who owns the 40 Watt, this past time I was there, where that came from. And she said that a friend of hers got it at like a roadside stand in Florida and called her and was like, they have this Velvet Prince, but it's $25. And she's like, oh my God, how have you not bought it already? So, but it's the coolest thing, and his eyes follow you. But that's something that I really love about the club. But it has a really like just like homey vibe. It's not pretentious. And I'm obviously this isn't the original location of it, and this is the only location of it I've actually seen any shows at. But I think it's a great venue.
Yeah, I toured all the other locations of it on my Friday, and yeah, it's but I don't know. Did you? I'm kicking myself for not taking a picture. I don't know if you saw above the entranceway door, they have the old Tyrone sign.
Yes, I have seen that.
Yeah,
I
so
have a picture of it somewhere. I didn't take a picture this time, but yeah.
yeah. So Tyrone's being the you know the major club in Athens back in the very early '80s before it burnt down, leaving only Mike Mills's bar tab still to be paid. Um, so yeah, it was a really good club. So I don't know. Uh, the shows were filmed as well. I
Love
don't
it.
sure if
Oh.
you
Yes.
yeah.
So
So
the documentary filmmaker Lance Bangs is filming making a documentary about it. He was at the first he was at Pappy and Harriet's. He was at LA. Skip Solana Beach was at the Fillmore, I think, and then Seattle and Portland, both Athens shows, and then they'll be in Brooklyn as well.
yeah. So I don't know, what this documentary form is going to be,
Yeah, I
but
don't either.
yeah, but it's good to know that there's like multi-camera, basically pro shot
Yeah.
footage of all of the shows that Jen mentioned, but those two shows in particular. And the other cool thing is, downtown Athens is really not that big. So
Mm-mm.
literally like 2 minutes walk around the block from the 40 Watt is REM's. They still have like an office rehearsal crew, equipment space, which is actually two doors up from one of the previous 40 Watt
Yes.
locations and the coffee club.
Yep.
So
And
I was going to say when we went there on our tour on Friday, we pull up and Lance Bangs is outside of the REM office. We're talking to David Belleyes, the photographer from the band, and then we walked up the street and we actually passed Peter Buck, Kevin Kinney, and Lenny Kaye like heading towards that office. So I don't know if they were going to like practice or I don't know, but yeah, everything is so compact in that place. Nothing's very far away. So, and I
yeah.
don't know if you saw John Worster's picture on his Instagram, but like him and DeWitt, they're guitar tech or REM's guitar tech, like carrying Peter's guitars from the REM building,
Yes.
like round the corner to the 40 watt.
I walked past Worcester right after that happened, and he's like, "Oh,
Okay.
you could have taken the picture." I was like, "Ah, missed it by like 5 minutes." Well, and what's hilarious is my friend Kim booked our place that we stayed at in Athens, and just by happenstance, it was right next to REM headquarters, and we got
Okay.
there, and there's DeWitt and Kevin O'Neill right on the sidewalk, and it's like, oh my God.
Right.
Like things like that happens the whole couple of days that we were all in Athens.
The
It
the
was
the
wild.
Shannon Narducci guys were staying in the hotel that we were in. So my friend Alex went to get like coffee both mornings, and the first morning he saw John Stirrat, the second morning he saw John Worster getting their breakfast at the lobby of a hotel. So
Nice.
it's a small, it really is, it's a small town. Like I don't think I realized quite how compact and close everything was. So
Yeah.
but yeah, the club's great. I can't wait to go back sometime.
Yeah.
So I do want to ask about the non-REM just show as it is.
Yeah.
But before I get to that, I guess Jen would be able to answer this better. But so what are the crowd reactions like throughout the country? Because I mean, how many shows have you seen so far on this tour?
So last night was the 13th show in last night in DC, and tomorrow night will be 14.
And so I mean, aside from the obvious that Athens was probably extra electric, but just I've been to, I was in, you probably know, Nashville and Tulsa lately, and I noticed the crowds felt a little different than up here in New England, a little bit. And so I just wondering, did you notice anything around the country that was any different, or was everyone pretty much the same?
I mean, there have been some slight differences. There's always anticipation and excitement. People are there part for nostalgia, part because they know it's going to be good, and they know REM's, never going to get back together and tour again. I will say, if you take the Athens shows out of the picture because they're just their own separate entity,
Right.
last night at the 9:30 Club, that crowd was incredible. I think if it wasn't sold out, it was almost sold out, and it's about First Avenue size, I think like 15, 1600. The crowd was so into it. And they play after they ran through all of Fables, they played 26 more songs. So 37 total songs.
Uh-huh.
Two extras, including someone requested Crazy from the audience. Shannon's never taken a request before. He did that. He made a Patsy Cline reference, which was kind of funny. Um, but, and I think the band too, like you could tell it was a highlight of the tour so far for them too. They thought the audience was great. They just seemed so happy and so into it. So like that stood out to me. Indianapolis, which was a Monday night, and it wasn't sold out, but I mean, respectable amount of tickets. That crowd, also fantastic. They got bonus songs. And then the next night in St. Louis, the crowd, I think, was more energetic than everyone was expecting. So there have been some surprises in terms of enthusiasm. But I think as the tour has been going on too, like the shows that haven't been selling out are getting close or they are selling out. There's a lot of momentum. It the crowds they're really appreciative, and everyone just loves being in a room hearing all these songs played again by such amazing musicians.
All right.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I would say for somebody that's not known as a singer, Michael Shannon is doing
Oh
he's
yeah.
great. He really is good.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, as I said, I've seen him twice, and
yeah.
it's very, very impressive. All right. So, Marcus, tell me about your impressions of the non-REM members.
I thought it was great. I've seen a couple of other, REM tribute bands. There's a local Philly band, and there's a band out of Buffalo that does a decent bit of touring. So I've seen them in Philly as well. But yeah, this was just different.
Yeah.
You can tell, you've got members of, Wilco they know what they're doing. They know those songs. Those songs mean a lot to them as well. They're not. It's it's not just a normal gig for them, I think, as well.
Right.
And you know, as you get the whole of Fables, and then I likened it to like an REM jukebox at the end of it, and they're pulling out some deep cuts.
They are.
The first night in Athens was 5 songs from Dead Letter Office, including the two Velvet Underground covers and Crazy by Pylon, um, Bandwagon.
They've been
I
doing Wind
like
Out. Yeah.
Wind Out. They did that the second night. I thought that was great.
Oh, last
I
night they pulled out Radio Free Europe.
Yes, I saw Bertis Downs, the band manager. I guess he liked it so much he went up to DC, so he was at the DC show last night. He posted a video of Radio Free Europe. Um, I have to say, they done. I think maybe they did both nights. They did, Seven Chinese Brothers, and
Yes.
I kind of wish they would do Voice of Harold, not just
I
because
was
the
actually just,
present
yeah,
company,
I was saying
but
the same thing to Kim that like as they get toward the end of Seven Chinese Brothers, I just want them to roll right into Voice of
yeah,
Harold. I
yeah.
think it would be fantastic.
But so for first night, I was stood next to my friend Alex, and I was just singing "Voice of Harold" while he was singing Seven Chinese Brothers, and Alex was like, "I'm impressed you can remember so many lines, from Voice of Harold." The other, I thought, so the first night in Athens they did as the first song of the encore they did "Let Me In" from the Monster album, but they do a different arrangement to what the band did. So the band played it two different ways during their existence. Like on the Monster tour, it was basically how it sounded on the album, and then on later tours they did like a more like multi-acoustic guitar version. This was much more of like a full band rocking version of "Let Me In," and then on the second night, they opened the encore with just Shannon and Arducci
Yeah.
doing "So Central Rain," but they do the '87 version with lines from "Red Rain" by Peter Gabriel at the end, and I thought that was, again, other than he whacked his head on the PA speakers,
Yeah.
getting to where he was going to sit to do it. So I'm sure he had a headache, but yeah, Michael Shannon was like so into that version of So Central Rain. It
They
was
also do a duo version of Let Me In some nights too, where it's
yeah.
just Shannon and Arducci.
Okay.
They sit and it's all quiet, and then the rest of the band comes in one by one,
Yeah, yeah,
and it's really, really it's beautiful. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So they are top notch. They really are.
Hmm.
I enjoyed it. You know, I'm going to the Philadelphia show tomorrow night, so I'll see Jen in person tomorrow
Yeah.
night as well. Um, yeah, they are really great. If I don't know when this is going to come out, but if they're coming to your town and you haven't seen and you're not planning on going, I
Go.
strongly suggest you do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well, they're
absolutely.
playing here Friday, so I'm thinking of going.
Oh,
So,
you should, Harold, you should.
yeah, well, you guys are getting me all
yeah.
worked up about it. So, I mean, so yeah, well, I won't go into it, but I should be able to go. I'll probably get a ticket. And if I do, I'll meet you, Jen.
Yay, that would be great. Yeah, it'd be good to see you again.
And well, in closing, is there anything else in particular? Well, first of all, Jen, have you ever done anything like this before? Like,
No, I haven't. I mean, so last year I went to 4 of the 9 shows on the Murmur tour. If you take the 2 Great American Music Hall shows out, because that kind of was like an unofficial start to the tour. They started the Murmur tour at First Avenue, and so I went to that, and then I flew down to Atlanta, and my friend Kim met me, and we went to Athens and Carborough, and then DC. They played at Black Cat, and then I had to go back to my job. So I couldn't go to the rest of this. I mean, if I was not on sabbatical right now, I wouldn't be able to do this. And it's really, that was the thing. I was like, you know what? Life is short. This is going to be amazing. I'm gonna do this. So yeah, I've never like I wasn't a Deadhead. I none of that kind of stuff. So I've never followed a band around like this, let alone a cover band, right?
Right, right. And we all need good things in our lives at this point in time.
Yes.
So
Seriously.
Any sort of self-indulgent thing like this, is
Absolutely.
no one's gonna, say it's not a good thing to do.
yeah, yeah.
And so we've all been traveling to go see things lately. So
Yeah.
it's really joyous. So is there any we'll start with Marcus. Any closing words? Anything you wanted to say?
No, like I said, it really, but the whole, I had, as I said, had the whole Athens experience, like, and it really was, to see, to share it with my best friend that I met through this band that's meant so much to me over the last 30, 40 years now, uh, it, it, yeah, 35 years, was, an, yeah, it was just really was an absolute highlight of my life. You know, they've been, teasing the possibility of maybe doing Life's Rich pageant next year as well.
Yeah.
So I think Alex and I want to try it. If they do it, may go back to Athens, and who knows, they'll do a week now. I don't. But I'd love to go back to Athens again. There's stuff I still haven't seen that I'd like to see again or go see. But yeah, it really, really was one of the highlights of my life this past weekend.
And Jen, final
I
words?
am, like being immersed in this is amazing. And as much as I do not want this ride to end, right? I'm over the halfway point. But I am looking forward to like stepping back from all of my notes and the people I've talked to and just like the memories and information and really kind of pull out the themes and think about it as a whole. I'm also looking to contrast it with, the actual like time that Fables came out and the reaction to it and use that for context, look at, like press stuff and all of that from that time. And so I may try to go back down to Athens, like maybe in May or June, maybe combine it with AthFest, which would be kind of fun. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what it is I make of this experience and how I pull it all together in something that's hopefully interesting to other people.
Yes, well, yeah, your I was telling Marcus before. This is that I wanted to interview you guys. 'Cause I know you both, somewhat, and I know it would be the enthusiasm and the fanaticism and everything, and would shine through. And I just really appreciate you guys coming on here and sharing your experience. I mean, it's um, and I'm glad I know you guys a little bit,
Yeah.
and just wanted to thank you, and so you're going. So Marcus is going one more show, and how many more shows already do you have, Jen?
So last night was 13, so there are seven more, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, seven more shows. Sadly, I cannot go to Europe. First of all, I'm spending all my money on this,
Right?
but it's literally the first week that I'm back from sabbatical. So
No,
I can't go. I'm like, ah.
they should have checked
Oh.
with you before they booked
I
this.
I know, right? Jeez.
All right. Well, again, thank you. We're
No,
gonna
thank you. It's been nice to be able to like bring
summarize.
summarize it. Yeah, yeah, summarize and put some feelings out there from the weekend. So
Well,
thank you.
and thank you for listening to both of us gush about this too, because I mean,
Yeah,
it's just been amazing, and I know you get it.
Yeah.
Some people might not, but it really it is just a fantastic thing that's happening. And Marcus, I'm so glad you got to combine it with that deep dive into Athens
yeah,
history and lore. Like I need to do more of that. Um, did a little bit of it, but not nearly what you did. So hopefully, when I go back down, like in May, I can do that.
yeah. It's well worth it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, bye everybody. And have fun at the shows. And looking forward to Jen for your book.
Yeah.
I have
Yay.
I have to write
I
it.
do, right? No, I have to. Absolutely. It's going to be great. And the photos I've been taking too, like that's it's going to have a great visual element as well. So I'm really excited about that.
Excellent.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, all right. Well, I'm going to bid farewell to people watching and put on pause and talk to you privately for a minute.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi, this is the encore. Jen and Marcus were talking, and then they still had things to say. Um, so I guess Jen, tell your story.
Yeah, so there's one song that they've only played once on the tour, and that was at the second show in LA at Bellwether. They played Lightning Hopkins, and as I was just saying, I basically lost my mind, right? Like to hear that song was incredible. And I was talking with Worcester in Portland, and mentioned that, and he's like, "Yeah," he said, "We're not. I don't think we're going to play that again." And I was like, "Why?" And he said, well, it's a hard song. The drums are really hard. I was like, yeah. And he said he talked to Bill Berry, how did you do this? How did you get these drums? And he said, oh, we did it all in studio. It was basically all made up. So that kind of broke my heart. I was like, oh, because I really wanted to, I'd love to hear it again. And the fact that I heard it once is great. And, it's in my mind. I didn't record it or anything like that. But that's going to be a very memorable moment on the tour for me, especially if they don't play it again. And it really sounds like they aren't.
And Marcus, any particular things you want to share? Like, I know it's like everything. It's like a moment.
Yeah, I was, yeah, when we were talking, I was saying, Auctioneer Another Engine is it's seeing it live at like, point blank range. It's almost like a metal song. Like
Yes.
the drums are so powerful. Everything about that song is so powerful. It's incredible. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
not, nothing but admiration for John Worster, what he's doing back in that engine room, because he is really. I know Mike Mills singled out John Stirratt in one of the second show, I think, about how well he was doing on the bass lines,
Yeah.
and I'm 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 sure he is. But you can viscerally see the drumming and feel the
Yes.
drumming. Yeah, John Worster, you know, two thumbs up. Like he's incredible.
He
Yeah.
is.
He's not just great on Instagram, he's also a drummer.
Yeah.
He's
Um,
very multi-talented, absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
something just crossed my mind. Like I just remembered, and I don't know if this is, it just crossed my mind. You can just comment.
Yeah.
I just remembered like in 76, 77, I went to see Beatlemania on
Oh,
Broadway and with a bunch of Beatles fans, and we purposely got last row seats so it would seem more like the Beatles. And we knew it wasn't the Beatles, but it was kind of like seeing the Beatles. And I was wondering, like, when you were seeing that, did you feel like you were obviously not when REM on stage, but did it feel like an REM concert, or did it feel like more like a tribute? Not that there's anything wrong with being a tribute, but I mean you can't really be REM. You know what I'm saying?
I
yeah.
don't I didn't feel like it was an REM show. Like, as good as Michael Shannon is, he doesn't sound like Stipe. He doesn't do a lot of the vocal ticks that Michael
Right.
does. Um, so yeah, I didn't feel like I've seen the bootleg Beatles like two or three times when I lived back in the UK. So I've seen that, similar like that almost did feel like seeing the Beatles because they're in costume and they are trying to be the Beatles.
Right.
Whereas these guys are just paying tribute to the music and enjoying playing the music. So yeah,
Yeah.
I to me it doesn't seem like an REM show. It's a really good rock show that the songs are by REM.
Mhm.
And I would agree. It does feel like an REM show, and it's not supposed to.
Right.
Right.
I would also say, like, yes, technically this is a cover band, but it doesn't feel like a tribute to me. I think they have so much admiration
Mm.
for REM and everything that they've done that the tribute label doesn't really fit. And one thing that I have really enjoyed, like, they don't get up there and just play these faithful renditions of the songs. Like, that would be, I think, a tribute band. They're adding and changing and bringing some of their own styling and ideas. I mean, like an auctioneer, like Narducci turns his guitar upside down. There's a lot of like sonic stuff with the
Mm.
amps and things like that. And I think it they walk a line between taking the elements that make it familiar, but also then bringing in some of their own skills to make it their own. And that's one of the things that I love the most about all of these shows.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I was hoping. It's like you don't want like you want them to have their own personalities and add things because you can just listen to
absolutely.
lots of videos if you wanted.
Exactly. And I think I mean, 110% they're doing that. They're really bringing their own stuff to it.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, this is probably goodbye. I'm gonna put
Okay.
again, and there might be another encore, but I don't know.
I gotta go. Kim and I have to go eat dinner. So
Okay, bye bye. Have a nice dinner. It's great talking to you guys.
thanks.
Thanks for
It's
sharing
so
all
great.
this
Yeah. And
information.
Okay.
Marcus, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow night,
All
Jim.
right.
All right, take care.
Bye.
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 Bye.